Hey, welcome to Phenix Health Field Management. What you see here is the login screen where you have the Phenix Health Clinical login, the host country, and the offline authentication option. So when you first download the application, you would not be able to do an offline authentication because you need to create a profile on the account. So we're going to begin by just creating a profile. This is going to connect to the internet and verify the password. We're going to use a demonstration login. Select the host country. If you don't select the host country, you would basically come up with this error. So you have to select the country. Click on login. We wait until it goes to the internet, verifies the password. Once it has done that, it's going to ask you to create a 4-digit PIN code. 4, and we're going to confirm that. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, once we click on create passcode, it basically puts the passcode in your account, and then you can log into the application using that 4-digit passcode. Now the offline authentication now would be available because you have logged into the application. Now we will just go to log out, and because now the profile exists, we can now do an offline authentication. We select the connected profiles in the platform, put the password in, and we would be allowed to create the PIN code again. Now, there are also some events where people might also forget the PIN codes. So in that case, we also offer. Now let me just give you an example. I need to go and quit the application so that open the app, and it's going to ask you for the PIN code. So if you forget the PIN code, you can always do reset PIN, and it's going to do the same procedure. You would have to use a password which you have used while creating the profile. Okay, it'll allow you to create another PIN if you have forgotten the PIN on the field. So we put the newly created PIN, and then we access the program. Now here we see the primary interface where the doctors will be working the most with. We have 2 buttons on the top. One's the help, and the other one is the scan to Aadhaar card button. I think we all are very familiar with the scan to Aadhaar card. It basically, a scanner opens up if I click the button now, and you would be able to scan a barcode. We have the primary identification information on the top, and then followed with the Aadhaar card number, the unique ID, the address of the patient, and general statistical information. The area for clinical notes, and then the 2 buttons to actually create an appointment, view the archive, or log out of the application. Going back to the top, we're going to start with just going through and filling up the primary information. So we now have 3 options to select the identification points. One is the Aadhaar, one is the issued ID, and the other one is the generated new ID. So the issued ID is basically the generated new ID, but the patient is coming back to actually get it. The app has data verification, so if you click on generate new ID and if you have not filled in the basic information, it's going to give you back an error. So the only other information which you need apart from the patient itself is their gender. I'm just going to give you an example. So I've not selected gender, so the app says, you know what, please select the gender. So I'm going to click the button again, so confirm. So that is the generated ID. This is what you should be giving to the patient. It's a unique number generated for each and every client, and that number should be put in the Aadhaar issued section, and the radio tab should be issued ID. That's when the application recognizes this user as an existing user and then adds it again. I'm just going to fill up with some demonstration data because we have just generated the ID. I'm just going to skip that part and select his date of birth. Okay, and then fill his phone number. I'm just going to put a dummy number for now. Scroll down, fill in the address field. So I'm just filling in with some basic information. Now remember, every section of the application comes with data verification. So if I go ahead and fill in some incomplete data, the application is going to reject it. So as you just saw, it says that the address line can't be blank. So it basically tells you each step of the way, saying that you need to put a proper address and proper fields. Okay, postcode 00003. I'm going to select the campsite. Now campsite is very important because we want to know where this patient is originating from. So we'll have to select the proper list. The other section within the statistical part is not mandatory. It's something if you want to collect, you can collect. It just adds to the richness of the data. Okay, now we have the section where the booking of the appointment. Now all of the doctor profiles logged on the application would be available here. You can select the doctor from the list who you want to book with. You can add as many doctors as you want. We also have validation done on the clinical notes. I can just put a tick on it so that the system now also adds notes into the account. And if I go proceed ahead to create the account, it's going to say that clinical notes are missing. So clinical notes, remember, has to be more than 10 characters because that's the minimum amount of characters you want to put on a notes. So I'm just going to put sample clinical notes. And I'm just going to click the button create account. It's going to create an offline archived data account. And press that button and the account would be created. Now this section is where all of the archive lists would just pop up. The application has 3 stages in terms of the data recognition. One is pending, in transit, and completed. Now you see we have a serial number of the job, the name of the patient, and the timestamp when this job was created, and the status. So if you click on refresh, it's just going to refresh the list. If you click on the yellow button, it's going to send it to the server. If you click on the red button, it's going to delete the completed jobs and also do a scan for temporary jobs. Now the different sections, which is pending, in transit, and complete, what they stand for is pending is only available on the app. It has not been sent to the server. And in transit means it has been sent to the server, but it's just waiting for a confirmation back. And completed means it has been received on the server and it has been applied in those patients' accounts. Now I'm going to click on send all. It's going to give me a notification saying all of the data which you currently have in the list is going to be sent to India, and it's going to send the data. Refresh. It says transit. And then I should receive a confirmation back at the bottom saying it's sent. So either you wait for that information or you just click on refresh and it should just come back as completed. So now if you want to free up the data on your phone, you can just click on delete completed. As I said, it's going to delete all of the completed jobs, but also do a scan of in-transit jobs. If those jobs have been sitting for some while, this is how you would be able to resend them. This is going to delete the completed records and the list is empty. So this is how you would basically go about the application, where you can add data, verify data, and then resend the data if the initial sending was unsuccessful. There might be some cases where you don't want your name to appear in the list where the nurse has the option to book the appointment with you. So the only way to actually remove you from the list is basically clearing out the cache of the application. And you would have to go into your settings, applications, find the app, and click on clear data. This is the only way you can remove your name from the list, apart from deleting the app and installing it again. So this option was kept in mind because if you're out on the field and you don't want your staff to just delete you from the list or just take you out from the list without everyone knowing about it.